Welcome back to our episode 4 of our podcast. This is Talking on Edge. Yes, this is with Charmaine and
Layla.
Yes, and we have been having a ball doing these podcasts. We just love coming on here and talking to you guys and having a conversation with one another. Have you been enjoying it, Layla?
Yeah, a lot. And I've been enjoying the comments you've been getting from you guys. They mean a lot.
They mean a lot. Also, you guys have been subscribing. Thank you so much. Let's get to that 1,000. We're almost there. We appreciate you. Just remember to like up the video, share the video. Don't forget to subscribe. And also, remember, you guys can listen to the podcast on Spotify. And again, it's called Talking on Edge. Yes. All right. So let's dive right into it. Today we'll start with I said I wanted to talk about what we saw happening in the news, and on TikTok we saw 90 Day Fiance, which is one of the shows that we watch or used to watch. It's not really that interesting anymore. I think they're just rotating the people at this point.
You used to watch it. I don't.
I only watch it for like the reunions and the drama. I honestly don't even care at this point. But I found it very interesting. A couple that we did follow, which was Angela and Michael. Michael lives in Africa, or was it Nigeria? Is it Nigeria he's from?
I'm not sure.
We're not sure. Anyways, they were in a relationship they were in a long distance relationship for 7 years. 7 years she's been trying to get him to come to the States. And it's been an ongoing, thing with them. They come on the show, they fight, they break up, they make up. She goes down there and literally fights him, and they make up. It's just ongoing. But what was funny, we saw that he finally, in December, he made it to the States. Apparently, he was denied a couple times, and he finally made it to the States. And so what was really cool is that he finally came up, and I guess they traveled, they went to different places, and together she took him to a few, Miami. I heard they were in LA. They were all over. And all over Instagram, they were smiling. You swore he was happy. And then to find out, he just went missing. They put out a police report. Michael went missing. Where did Michael go? And in less than 24 hours, he came back. But the funny thing is, he did not come back. What he did, okay, so let me sum it up. He basically took off. They thought he went missing. So Angela did a live expressing to everyone, help her find him. Police got involved, and because he left his clothes, he left his passport, he left everything behind. So she really thought he went missing. 24 hours later, Michael contacted the police from a burnt phone. A burner phone. Is that what they're called? Yeah, a burner phone. And told the police that he's safe where he is, but he doesn't want them to know, or Angela to know, his location. He had a picture on the phone of his passport, so they could verify it was him. And he said he's fine, but he's being abused by Angela. So the joke of the matter is I actually believe him. I believe him. I think she brought him to the States and used that as her way to control him. That's what I think. I don't think he was happy living with her. What do you think?
No, I don't think he was happy either. From what I've seen with them, he hasn't been happy. The amount of times they've been on and off, and the amount of times his friends have dissed her. Nobody was happy with their relationship, and I don't think Michael was either. He was always have to feel like he was trying to please her. And then Angela always got upset and was always yelling at him and always screaming. You can always count on drama with Angela and Michael. So I think the abuse part, that'd be real.
Yeah, I would think that them actually living in the same place would be a very difficult situation for him. But I will say I have to express disappointment in Michael. She showed you exactly who she was. He knew she was aggressive. He knew she was loud. He knows she's crazy. You coming up here, you coming to the States, why do you think that would change Angela? It's just silly, you know? And to me, if his goal was to use her to get his papers and get to the States, it worked. Mm-hmm. I mean, if that was his plan, 7 years of playing the game, Layla, he played it good. You got to give him his credit. His friends are probably just hold on a little bit more. Get the paper. Like he literally, I mean, I don't know who helped him come up with that plan, but that boy, he said, you know what? I ain't spending another day with Angela. I'm out. And he literally left her. And the thing is, now she has no talk at this point. Because now when you say that, you know, you're being abused in the relationship, Angela doesn't have any ground to stand on now. So he's able to stay in the States now and be okay. So, I mean, the end game was to play her, because he did play her.
Yeah.
He did play. There's no way he could have won her with her little tired self.
Yeah, but in his defense, he's been in a whole different country. And yeah, he was aggressive and mean and rude, but he maybe didn't know about the abuse part, so he could have been happy to come to the United
States. But abuse is a very, you know, what abuse is he referring to? They didn't say. Is it physical abuse? Is it verbal abuse? Is it emotional abuse? What abuse did she cause him? I don't know. We don't know. And if we want to talk about abuse, she abused him verbally on the show all the time. And he still stayed. Right?
Yeah.
So why are you making that an issue now? So if she tore you up with her tongue, why are you talking about it now?
I think it's because he was able to talk his way out of it.
Of course. He knew what he was doing. Michael knew what he's doing. And you know what? Michael, run. Run. Okay? And I would say, don't come back, because that situation, the two of them together, you know, and I feel bad for Angela to a certain degree. I'm not a fan of hers, but the amount of money she probably spent to get him to the States, and she probably took care of him while he was down in his country. So she spent a lot of money on him. So I feel her that way. So I can imagine on her end, she feels very used. But I mean, it is what it is. It's what happened, you know?
And when he was in Africa, she got to leave. He got the privilege to have her leave, but actually living with her, I feel like that can be a whole different story. But he got to leave. She had a plane ticket. She had a due date on when she had to go. So he was just like, okay, only a couple more days until she has to leave. Only a couple more days of her yelling at me. But now he has to stay with her. So that's a different thing too.
Yeah. And it's not just her. It's her kids, her grandkids. Oh gosh, dealing with Angela. I can't even deal with her on the screen. Much more living with her. Ooh, I could only imagine what that feels like. Anywho, yeah, it's on both sides. I mean, people will have an opinion. You know, people might be rooting for Angela, and people might be rooting for Michael on this time, because we can only judge by what we've seen, and their situation was just never a good look. So they're better apart, in my opinion. Right. All right. So let's talk about something else. So another thing that we saw happening was this girl Tisa on TikTok. She made a 50-part series on TikTok. It's called Who the F Did I Marry? And she did a 50-part, theory. Sorry, a 50-part series on TikTok. I mean, every single episode she put out hit over like 3 million views. People were tuned in. To be honest with you, I have to be honest. I've only seen comments. I had no headspace to sit down and listen to her full story. I only caught glimpses of what people said or comments, and kind of piece things together. I don't have the headspace to go sit down to no 50-part series of, yeah, yeah. I don't have the headspace for that.
First, I want to give her props because you made a 50-part series and you showed me it recently, and each episode or part is like, I'm going to say about 5 minutes to 10 minutes long.
And they reach over like 9 million views, some of them.
And then a month, in a time span of a month, she got verified. She got 3 million followers. So
yeah.
You have to give her credit. But how do you have so much things to talk about?
Oh,
or about this one person?
Oh, honey,
you made up a 55-part series.
Oh, I could make 100. I could make 100-part series, dear. I understand where she's coming. You can break it down. Listen, we're just happy that at the end of the day, I'm sure there's many people in her who can relate to a lot of what she said. These guys out in these streets are just telling pure lies. So, I mean, from what it sounds like, she got into a relationship and he was a pathological liar. And thank God that there are some women out there that don't look like what they've been through, because some of these men can put you through the mill. Okay. So I'm proud of her. If that was her way of being, telling her story in that way, I give her props. Number one, I think it's commendable that she can be so vulnerable, because a lot of people, especially, I think it's a cultural thing too. We are, it's almost like, it feels like you're doing the wrong thing to be so vulnerable and be so, emotionally exposed, because we're set up in a way that people see you in a way that they feel like you're supposed to be strong. I think actually your generation does a better job of being more vulnerable. But I think it comes out at you guys' age. You guys deal with a lot of depression and anxiety. And tell me if I'm wrong. I just feel like you guys express yourself so much that to the point it hurts you physically. Like, I think a lot of you guys are going through it,
I think it's like, for my generation, I think it's like the simplest things that stress us out. Like, I have anxiety, and like I could be stressing about, I don't know, schoolwork, or if I have a test coming up, I could be stressing about the smallest things, but it can make me the most paranoid person. And then if I'm in a slump with my friends, plus the tests and the quizzes or whatever, plus school, plus more things, it can put me in a state of like, why am I even here? And just like sadness or depression or upset or just being upset. So in my generation, I would have to say we're just full of anxiety and depression.
Yeah, and it's funny. But when I was your age, Layla, 13. I'm trying to think back to when I was at 13. The amount of stuff we did at 13 is crazy to me. So first of all, I would say that at 13, we went to school. We had to come home. We had to do chores. And then some of us had to attend church service in the evening, still get our homework done, whether it's still study for a test. Some of us had jobs. We were doing all of that at your age. You know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy. And I think that's what built us mentally to be so strong. I don't think we had even time to even process how we felt. We were just built to go, built to get things done, built to just, you know, exist. You know, we didn't have time to deal with our feelings. Now I'll tell you this. We most of us, you know, especially growing up with Jamaican parents or have, you know, it's a cultural thing. They don't express, they're just, you know, they're not expressive. They don't share emotions, you know. Um so most of the times you don't hear about people's feelings or how they're feeling, and it would almost be weird to be talking about at 13 in my time saying telling people you're depressed. People would be like, what is that? Depressed about what? That's probably what people would be saying. Or, you know, we didn't know what those things are, you know. I think it's because in schools they talk about these things more, and then you guys are allowed to share your emotions and
Yes.
be more open about what you're feeling and how are you processing things, and is this the way things are done? Is it working for you? Is it not working for you? How can we help you change it? We didn't grow up like that, so it's very different.
Yeah, but also people could be growing, like for example, I know some people, my peers, they grow up either from another country. I know someone in my class who has family members, like immediate family members that live in a whole another country, and they don't get to see them as often, and they have to take time off from school to go see them. And so when teachers or staff come around saying that we can talk to you and you can come talk to us and share your problems, and we will arrange something for you if you have to go do something with your family or whatever, no one wants to actually go do that because it's humiliating for them to take time off or to talk to a teacher about the struggles they're having. So you just keep all of that slumped inside, and then you just have it bottled up, and then it just fills your brain space with all the stuff that's occupying your head, like your family or schoolwork or friends or any other thing that could be bothering you. So when people my age or around my age say that they're depressed, it's more of just like stigma, and it's more of them saying they're just stressed out.
Yeah, and I understand that, but my fear for your generation is that you guys you're not building enough um will, or should I say, you to be able to handle pressure, because you guys have not met upon pressures of life yet. So can you imagine, like, when you have to start dealing with bills, and you have to start facing relationships and start really existing as an adult, you know? If it's so hard as a teenager, which you just started because you're just 13, right? So imagine when you have to face life, right? So I think, you know, one thing that worked out for us, we were mentally stronger, I believe, to handle a lot that came at us. We didn't have the time to be vulnerable. Um, it just made us stronger.
Yeah, but
But
we have the time to be vulnerable. You could keep telling me that at my age you had a job, like an actual job, but we don't get allowed that. You have to have a job at what, 15? That's when we're allowed to
15,
have a job. But we have time to be vulnerable now. We have time to think about all the stuff we just processed through the day, and that can stress us out.
yeah, I think though a lot has to do with we growing up, we had more interactions. I think we were able to interact more. We never had gadgets like what you guys had. We had like, you know, like one little Game Boy, or I think they had a Game Gear back then. We didn't have like Xboxes, PlayStation, and like game upon game, console against we didn't have all that. We just had, when you finished school or on weekends, all you saw, Layla, was literally you could drive from street to street. Streets were packed with kids playing outside, riding their bike. They were playing hockey. We used to just knock at people's doors, neighbors' doors, and can you come outside today and play? Or if their parents open the door, they're like, "Hi, Charmaine," and they say, "Can such and such come outside today?" And they're like, "Go outside. You come back in at 7 o'clock." Or that's what we did. We were always outside. So any venting or maybe, anything we felt, it was maybe laid out on the playground, and you go back home and you move on. We didn't have time to sit down and fester these things, and we really did not, Layla. And a lot of these, you guys have too much time on your hand. That's the problem. You guys are not, I find this generation is not, you're too laid back. You know what I'm saying? Like you guys, you have too much time to worry. You have too much time to think. You have too much time. And it's the simplest things that set you guys off. And we didn't have that. We just kept it moving.
Yeah, but what you just said about like going out with your friends or just knocking on people's doors, now that's a whole different thing.
No,
people's parents don't want them going outside because it's gonna be dangerous, or
yeah,
you go on people's doors. No, he has to do something, or no, we're going somewhere, or they might not even open the door, or you go to the playground, you can't stay for that long, or no one's there because everybody's at home doing something completely different. So when you say just going out on the playground and venting and just like...
We weren't even on the playground. We were literally on the streets. We literally used to be on the streets, Layla.
Yeah, I've experienced that too. Like, remember when I was like, I don't know, 4, there were some kids I used to hang out with who are a little bit older than me. We used to just play outside of the house.
Yeah, but you did that at your grandmother's house.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was like grandma's neighbors, right? Mm-hmm. And they were all, and those are when you used to visit, but you didn't have that.
Yes, I kind of did. Like when we were, there was this boy I used to play with, and from like I was in kindergarten to grade 1 until he moved.
Yeah, but that's different because you guys were in the same class at school,
and
so that's not what I'm referring to. I'm talking about you could go outside every single day and see about 30, 40 kids playing outside. Just literally playing and going back in because everybody used to interact with everybody. And there was a level, every single parent, no parents were outside. There was, you would just be, I'm going outside, I'll be back. Parents wouldn't be like, where are you going? There was no parents doing that. The trust, it was a different time. There was no parents that were fearful that your kid's going to get stolen or kidnapped or hurt. Nobody, that was not the fear back then. So now, though, we're living in a totally different time where, parents' fears are heightening because of the world we live in today. It's a lot more dangerous. So, you're more cautious with your kids or where you send your kids or where you can allow your kids to go. But I think it's hurt you guys as a generation because it's heightened parents' fears, but it's made you guys, I feel, mentally weaker. Whereas I think our generation, we were stronger. We were built differently, Layla. And, and I just hope it can, over time, you guys can learn to deal with, yes, being able to be vulnerable, which is a good thing, but being able to handle, life and handle anxiety and stress and find ways to cope. Because I think it's going to be very important, So kudos. I guess it brought us up to this topic, but kudos to this lady, Risa Tisa, that made herself so vulnerable because it's literally changed her life. I think.
But is she talking about one particular person or multiple different people?
No. She's talking about her experience with one person.
So you're telling me one person is occupying 5 to 9 minutes
in a 50-part series.
In a 50-part series.
Oh, 100%. And I'll tell you this, Layla, because you have not walked into life yet. Most women could tell many stories, and it'll probably be more than a 50-part series of one person they've been with who literally they have to wonder what were they smoking, if they were smoking cement or how did we get here? Yeah. Many women could do that. She literally, I think that's why so many people clued in to what she had to say, because one, people could relate to what she was saying. She started, the first thing she said, she married somebody who was a pathological liar. How many people do you know that I'm sure there's so many women out there that could relate, that they are married to somebody who tells pure lies. Hello. So trust me, Layla. Yeah. I kudos to her, and every good thing that's supposed to come her way, I hope she gets it. Because I mean, for her to do that, that man brought her to the bottom. So I think it's great that now she's at the top, looking down and saying, I don't look nothing like what I've been through. I think it's absolutely fabulous. So kudos to her. Yeah. What do you guys say?
I don't know.
I think it's great.
I'm never gonna listen to this.
No, I'll never. I don't have the brain power. You know me. I don't have the headspace to listen to that. But I'm sure if I listen to clips and bits and pieces of, there's something out of a 50-part series that she put out there, there's something I can relate to. 110%.
If it's a 55-part series, people are obviously, they listen to the first one. She didn't come out with the second one yet. But when they see she come out with the second one yet, that's when they listen to it, and they just keep going on.
Absolutely.
That's and then it has a consistent amount of views. But you're right. You just hop onto on part 23, you're not gonna listen to the rest before.
Oh, it depends what she says in part 23. Because maybe when you hear 23, you're just like, wait. No, I gotta hear the backstory, and then you go right back to the beginning. Trust me.
But 55, I'm not going that far.
That's you.
I'll just listen
because you're 13. But a grown woman walking in her space and in her power. Trust me. You don't know what that woman right there changed the game. You're young.
Okay, but as a grown woman, would you go back and listen to the
I would. 55? I just don't, you know me. I just don't have the headspace. I don't want to sit down and listen to that for so long. I just don't. That's just me, because she might make me upset when I start to hear things and be like, oh, what? I'm not even going to work up myself, but I'm proud of her.
I miss when TikToks were just a 60-second cycle.
Oh, no.
If you were to listen to a 55-part series, you were listening to it very quickly.
That's true. Now,
9 minutes, that's how much a YouTube video is.
Pretty much. And she didn't even touch YouTube yet. So I'm pretty sure she's just going to hop onto YouTube too. And she's at the top of her game right now. I'm proud of her.
TikTok has turned into YouTube. We went from 60 seconds to 10 minutes.
Because that's where people are going right now, to express themselves and, and say people are using that to vent. That's what people are using TikTok to do nowadays, to vent. So, Anywho. Yeah. Anything else you want to say?
Nope.
We just got caught up there. Anyways, yeah. So another podcast. This is episode 4, guys. So I guess we'll close off this one for today. But thanks again so much for listening. That was fun, Layla.
Yeah.
Anyways, don't forget to, Layla, tell the people what to do.
Like, share, subscribe, hit that bell button for more amazing podcasts like this.
Yes.
And I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode.
Enjoy today's episode, guys. And thank you so much for the subscribers. And thank you so much for listening. So we will see you guys, or you'll catch us in the next episode. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.